Live from the beautiful hills of upstate New York and Watkins Glen International, we are back for round number 7 of Season 2 of the Challenger Cup Series here in 2025. I want to welcome you in to PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series here live on a Tuesday night. Again, Season 2 of this 2025 calendar year brings us to race number 7, basically just past the halfway point of the regular season. After a few oval dates, we now go back to the lefts and rights, and tonight the venue is Watkins Glen International, one of the oldest NASCAR touring road courses that the series goes to on a yearly basis. It will be the spot tonight for some more Challenger Cup Series history, as we will either crown another new winner and add another driver to the playoffs, or someone will repeat as a winner. My name is Dawson Wise. I want to welcome you into the broadcast booth high above Watkins Glen International, where we are about 35 seconds away from cars going to the starting grid for what should be a fun night of action. 41 laps from Watkins Glen here tonight. I want to apologize for no broadcast last week. As things came up, things got in the way, as life tends to do. Do want to apologize for that. And do want to inform you on our way in the door that a new driver is in the win column. Harold Watkins is on the board here in season number 2. It took him 6 races to get in the win column here after a dominant season 1 in 2025. But one of the championship 4 from last season is now on the board with a win in this second season. So for Watkins last week in Iowa, he struck gold and got to victory lane for the first time this season. There are a few drivers still looking to do that. Tonight going to be a prime opportunity for someone to get themselves on the board. We're going to head down trackside. It's just about that time to get on track for Challenger Cup Series action from Watkins Glen International. We will now head down there and do just that. Again, I want to thank you for coming out and joining us here tonight on a beautiful Tuesday night in virtual Watkins Glen. Hope it's a good day where you are as well as we get going for what should be a fun night of racing at the lefts and rights of Watkins Glen International. Let's get started as we always do with the starting grid for round 7 of season 2 of the Challenger Cup Series in 2025. On the pole with a time of 1 minute, 10 seconds, and 5 tenths. It's going to be the 30. It's going to be Ryan Patty. One of his first starts in the series. He'll go from pole position tonight, the DeWalt Chevy Camaro ZL1. To his outside, it's one of the road course aces of the series. It's the familiar brown, yellow, and orange Ford Mustang Dark Horse with the Reese's colors. That is Christian Strader, already a road course winner here in 2025. Row 2 is going to be another one of the rookies in the field tonight. It's Garrett Caswell in the 77, still searching for win number 1 of his Challenger Cup Series career. And to his outside, it will be the defending series champion, John Velocity, in the 84, another road course ringer. On row number 3, it'll be Andrew Little in the Waterford Concept Chevy. He'll go from position number 5. It'll be Matt Aiden in the 5 machine that will go from position number 6. Row 4, going to be Rusty Modesty in the 6 machine, along with Harold Watkins, last week's winner, in the 3. On row 5, GT Irizarry in the 14 machine will go from 9th position. It'll be Cody Eldred to his outside in the 34. Back on row 6, it's James Catrone and Greg Bourbonier, both having good seasons. And back on row number 7, it'll be Mike Martino, the last car to take a time, and Nick Seipel, our Sonoma winner, back from race number 3. On row 8, it's Stephen Luttrell, the Atlanta winner, in the 36 machine, and Harold Rothery in the 7. Rounding out the field tonight, 17th will be Brandon Beauchamp, and 18th will be Taylor Seneft. Those are the 18 men that will contest this 7th race of the season. We'll take you briefly on a quick lap around the Watkins Glen International. You saw that hard right-hand turn 1 off the downhill from the start-finish line. There's a lot of runoff off that exit area that they will use. And it's up into what we are now calling the S's, which is a hard right for turn number 2, a hard left for turn number 3, and now this wider turn number 4 that you will see them, again, use all the space that is allotted to them here throughout the course of the night. A long straightaway follows. You'll get up to speeds of about 130 miles per hour or so as you get down here to one of the most unique features on any NASCAR facility. It is the inner loop, or as we like to call it, the bus stop, which is, again, something that was added back in the late 90s, early 2000s to slow the cars down as they got into the carousel after some crashes down here in turn 5. They added this feature in the late 90s, early 2000s. You will see guys miss the bus stop and take that straightaway. That will be a penalty. They now get into this wide banked turn number 5 that, again, is an elevation change downhill. This is what we are going to call the carousel, and they'll come down another long straightaway here. This narrows up a lot right about here where this runoff ends. It used to be grass out there. It's not anymore. It's paved now, but you see it narrows up quickly. Work down this long straightaway to turn number 6, which is a hard 90-degree left-hander, and finally into turn number 7, which is a hard 90-degree right-hander. That is a virtual lap around the Watkins Glen International. And that will be the contest for tonight's event. 18 on track. The Challenger Cup Series returns. Will another winner add themselves to the playoffs, or will someone go and repeat? It's time to find out. Ryan Patty brings the field into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing from Watkins Glen. Lap 1 complete, lap 2 on the board. Trouble out back. It's Nick Seipel, the Sonoma winner, that's gone for a slide at the exit of turn number 7. And an early setback for the Seipel machine, but a stage break coming at about the lap 12 mark. I'll double check that number for you. He will go ahead and come to pit road and bring that car to the attention of his crew. Ryan Patty out to an early lead over Garrett Caswell, who overtook Strader for second on the opening lap. So it's Patty down to the bus stop, chased by Garrett Caswell. First battle on track is back around Andrew Little and Rusty Modesty. Modesty took a 3-wide move into turn 1 on the opening lap. Andrew Little gets the spot back on the entry to the bus stop. Matt Hayden is +1 on his evening so far, 6th to 5th for the driver of the Oakley Chevrolet, and he is on the back bumper now of John Velocity as the field works off the carousel down onto this runoff. Starts to work down towards turn number 6 here on lap number 2. See Rusty Modesty, Andrew Little going at it once again. That is for 6th. They'll go door to door here in turn number 6. Andrew Little maintains the spot over the 6. 6 crosses over. Nobody home. They've got Harold Watkins breathing down their neck. This battle continues. Modesty, you'd imagine, would take the run down here into turn number 1 as the field works lap 3 of 41 here at the Glen. Continues to be Ryan Patty by 4/10 over Garrett Caswell in the second spot. As you watch the battle for the 6th position, the best one on the speedway right now. Cody Eltrid is 10th now over Greg Bourbonier. Bourbonier had gotten to +2. Stephen Luttrell, Harold Rothery, Brandon Beauchamp +3 as guys have had some problems. Taylor Seneff did not make the grid tonight. He will be credited with 18th as of right now. Mike Martino had an incident on lap 1. You might have seen it on the back end of the static camera. He is on pit road. He got the barrier pretty good on the opening lap. And of course, Nick Seipel, who we mentioned, is well behind the leaders now, but again, has a stage break coming. He's got a little breathing room, but he will be able to stay on the lead lap. You're on board with Andrew Little looking off the nose of the 68, the Waterford Concept Chevy, as he runs away a little bit here from Rusty Modesty in the 7th position. Now Modesty will go a little bit wide in turn 6. He'll be under fire from Harold Watkins for the 7th position. Watkins grabs it. Here is Ziri now will be on his back bumper. That will be for 8th. Battle for the lead up for a moment was starting to materialize up front, but Caswell loses a little bit of the time he had just gained. So the battle has dissolved just a little bit. And actually, the battle may start to be coming in for the 2nd spot. There's Christian Schrader trying to run down the Premier Racing setup Chevy of Caswell as the field works up through turn 4 and onto the straightaway. See how much speed that you can get. Let's see if Schrader tries to outbrake Caswell. Here's the field works into the bus stop. Caswell blinks. Dangerous position for Schrader. Not knowing how hard that 77 was going to be on the brakes, but Schrader able to get it woed down in behind the 77 and now puts pressure on him here in the carousel. That is because John Velocity is closing on both of these race cars. As Caswell, Patty use a lot of that runoff, so does Velocity, but Hayden and Schrader keep it a little bit tighter to that left side curb. You're on board with 2nd place now, Garrett Caswell. As he looks ahead at Ryan Patty, tries to fight off the advance of the winner from the Chicago Street Course back in round number 2 of this season. Christian Schrader out-dueled John Velocity on a pit stop. He's going to get to the inside here of Garrett Caswell as the field works down to this hard right-hand turn number 1. Schrader on the right, Caswell on the left. Caswell uses all of that space that's available to him out there on the exit of turn 1, and these two will work up the S's side by side. Not advisable, and John Velocity is now found his way into this battle. Caswell throws it back across the nose of Schrader and maintains the spot for now, but it's a 3-car battle instead of 2. Velocity going to try to outbrake Schrader as Schrader tries to rebound and get back to Caswell. 3-car battle for 2nd, working through the bus stop. Back through the inner loop, down towards turn number 5. Caswell holding off for the 2nd position so far. Some trouble for Matt Hayden further back. He's dropped from the 5th spot back to the 13th position as he went off track just a moment ago. James Catrone off track as well. We continue to watch the battle for 2nd. Schrader has caught Caswell. Velocity has caught Schrader, and Andrew Little begins to work his way into the picture potentially for this 2nd spot as Watkins hounds the 68. A lot of different battles going on. Big swing there from Christian Schrader as he got loose off the exit of turn 7. Still working on Garrett Caswell for the 2nd position. Patty continues to lead. And black, white, and yellow number 30. Velocity tries to fire on Schrader. Andrew Little has picked up some of the best time in the field on this run. He's cut 4/10 off the gap over the last lap and a half. His last lap was on par with the race leader. Fastest lap on track a lap ago was Velocity in the 84. Second fastest, Harold Watkins in the 3. So 2 cars in 5th and 6th are closing, but the question will be, how much can they close here in the next several laps before we get to that stage caution? Which again, stage caution will come out actually at the conclusion of lap number 10, not the conclusion of lap number 12. I thought it was 12. It is the end of lap 10. So coming back to 4 laps to go in stage number 1. And Garrett Caswell has chopped away half a second on the lead of Ryan Patty as the field works down to lap number 7, figuring something out. Battles on for 3rd. Schrader has it, slipped up a little bit in 7. John Velocity pushing him, backing out early, going to try to get some exit speed and get back to the back bumper of the race's Mustang Dark Horse, but for now it continues to be Schrader that holds on to that position in the 29. Nick Seipel continues to run just ahead of our leader, actually by about 20 or 25 seconds. He is ahead of leader Ryan Patty, so Seipel not in any danger right now of going a lap down, and I don't see, with the way the lap times are panning out, I don't see Patty gaining 25 seconds on him in the next 4 laps. Looks like Garrett Caswell's figured something out here. His lap times have gotten considerably better since the opening about 3 laps of this race. He hangs within a second of our race leader. So he worked down into turn number 6. Now down to turn number 7. Andrew Little was gaining time. He has lost a lot of that time now and is back over the 5-second threshold in that 68 machine. So for now, the best battle on the track continues to be this 2nd, 3rd, 4th pack. Now in a moment, that may change. Rusty Modesty's actually run down both of those cars, being Little and Watkins. As Matt Hayden going to be the first car to go 1 lap down. Actually, excuse me, it would have been Mike Martino, who's been on pit road. He is 2 laps down, but Hayden, the first to get past in an on-track move to go 1 lap down. So the Oakley Chevy now will need that lucky dog at the end of lap 10. Back to the bus stop, next time by 2 to go in stage number 1. Our only stage break of the night coming up here at the end of lap number 10 as Patty continues to lead. He built a little bit more on that lead this time by on Caswell. He's got it up to 1.3 seconds. Schrader begins to attack that 77 one more time for the 2nd spot. He'd probably get 1 more run at him, I would say, before the end of this stage. Again, 2 laps to go right here. Now with the battle for 5th starting to materialize, you would think that the caution may be held until all 5 across, so maybe an opportunity here for Schrader to get a couple more passing zones before the caution flag comes out at the end of lap number 10. They've got a 6-second lead on Andrew Little, who runs in that 5th spot, so he's got probably turn 1 of that 11th lap to pass the 77 if he gets close enough. But that battle is absolutely materializing. Watkins has caught Andrew Little for the 5th position. Hunts him down now as they work back towards the bus stop. 0.2 of a second. They're under a blanket, headed back to the inner loop. Let's see if Watkins gets a better run through this right-left, left-right-left combination. Runs a little lower than Little does. Little runs way out on that runoff, and that allows Watkins to close to within about 2 car lengths once again of Andrew Little. They're coming back to what will be the stage white flag, essentially, on lap 10. So we'll continue to watch this battle. The battle for 2nd is cooled off. Caswell has successfully defended his position against Schrader. Schrader continues to put some buffer between himself and Velocity as Patty's put a 1.35 second lead on Garrett Caswell. Little and Watkins closest battle on the racetrack as we hit lap 10. Stage caution will come out at the conclusion of this 10th lap. And Harold Watkins hounding on the back of Andrew Little as Rusty Modesty watches on from 7th. And Watkins only has probably 2 more opportunities here. It's really here in the bus stop and then into 6 are his best opportunities to get back to Andrew Little, and I just don't know if he'll get close enough here. He's going to try to cut that bus stop straight and try to get a better drive in a 5, and he actually got it that time. Little cuts back down. He'll get a little bit better roll through the center of the corner, but Watkins holds a tighter line, and we may have a little battle here headed down to 6. Harold Watkins looking for the final stage point. He's right behind Andrew Little, and as they work down the straightaway and into the braking zone for 6, is he close enough? The answer is no. Cody Eldred has had some trouble. Let's see if Watkins can get anything here in turn 7. He drives it in deep. Can't quite get there, so Andrew Little will hold off Harold Watkins for the 5th and final stage point. So Little gets the point. Caution flag should be coming here momentarily as the stage is complete. We'll continue to race up the hill. Battles on for second. Caswell Strader, I think they'd slowed down, and now the caution flag comes out. That was about to be really interesting because Velocity suddenly caught them. The caution flag came out. Cody Eldred has had a problem back here in the 34. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to him just a moment ago. .34 of Cody Eldred. Does he go? Oh, went to hit the brakes. Car wouldn't stop. Then it snaps out from underneath him. He gets loose. So really, not as much of a crash as timing and scoring would lead you to believe. He just got out of shape. But a mishap for Cody Eldred cost him a spot at the end of stage number 1. So Ryan Patty running down the pace car has completed all 10 laps of stage 1 out front. And he will catch the iRacing.com pace car up here in the S's. Next time by, the field will come to pit road, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. While we have an opportunity here under the caution flag, we're going to go to our one and only commercial break of the night. We will come right back. We'll go nonstop so you don't miss the pit cycle up front as the leaders get ready to come down pit road for potentially the only time under the yellow flag. Again, no full course cautions tonight due to the rule about only local yellows unless there's a track blocking incident. So this may very well be our only full course caution of the entire race. Drivers about to make pit stops. We'll go side by side. You won't miss a thing. We're coming back with more right after this. It's more coverage of the Challenger Cup Series from Watkins Glen. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3 by 3.
Almost all trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, the monkey is prime!
This season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's on!
Oh, that's good.
full of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by three.
Almost all trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Have created.
Welcome back to Challenger Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. Stage 1 is complete. The pit stop cycle is over, and now we will race it out for the final 27 laps here at the Glen. About a third of the way through our festivities tonight. As Ryan Patty, Christian Schrader continue to lead the way. Andrew Little, Harold Watkins moved to row 2. Rusty Modesty, GT Rizuri back on row number 3. Notably, Garrett Caswell, who was up front, is all the way back in 12th, along with John Velocity back in the 14th spot. So, guys losing positions on pit road, and now we'll have to gain that track position back the hard way. So we will get back underway. Lap 15 on the board, 27 to go from the Glen. We know now from that opening stage that they can go further than 10 laps on fuel. Now the question will be about how far can they go. And with almost a full lap under green for Ryan Patty, running almost all the way to lap 12, we know they can go longer than 11. So if they can get to about lap 29, I would say you're probably good on one stop. We'll see if they can make it that far. It'll only be about 2 laps further than they ran under green in stage 1. If they can make it that far, I'm seeing a pretty good spot to make it on one stop. Green flag back in the air. Brian Patty off and running. Away we go once again from Watkins Glen, and Ryan Patty checks out as the field works down to turn number 1. 3 wide. Nick Seipel recovered from that spin earlier on. Trouble. Harold Watkins is around in the 3 car right in front of the field. No caution yet. Still cars crashing back there around Harold Watkins as they all try to get it woed up. Watkins has major left front wheel damage on the Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, or Mountain Dew Code Red Chevrolet. Brandon Beauchamp is involved. Harold Rothery's involved. Looks like Matt Hayden may have gotten a piece of it as well. And trouble for Harold Watkins, last week's winner at Iowa, as he comes into some problems on lap 15 at Watkins Glen. He'll have to come back and get that fast repair taken, and now his chances to win over, his chances of the top 5 may very well be over. Nick Seipel had a moment on the exit of turn number 5 where he got loose, but he's able to save the race car. And battle for the lead is on. Here's Christian Strader, the winner from the Chicago Street Course, wants to lead at the Glen. He wants 2 road course wins under his belt and to extend his lead as the winningest driver in the series here in 2025 Season 2 as he tries to fight Ryan Patty. Andrew Little comes to pit road in the 68. Interesting decision there. So Patty holds off Strader for now. Irizarry up to third amidst all the chaos on the restart. Seipel up to fourth. Caswell, Velocity, fifth and sixth. So guys that lost track position for one run reason or another now run 4, 5, 6. They all benefit from that. Ryan Patty tries to now fend off Christian Strader, who was on his back bumper for a moment. Seipel and Caswell look to run these guys down. Seipel, a winner from this season back at Sonoma. Strader won at the Chicago Street Course. Strader's won 3 times already this season. Irizarry yet to win. Ryan Patty, of course, yet to win. Garrett Caswell yet to win. I believe the same is true for John Velocity. Velocity's last win came back at Pocono when he won the championship. I'm not sure what in the world was flying off the racetrack right there. That was wild, but as the timer ticks over there to 25 laps to go at Watkins Glen. It continues to be Ryan Patty as he now tries to open up the lead over Christian Strader. This field works down towards the bus stop once again. Here's Irizarry about to come under fire from Nick Seipel. Let's go back there and take a look at the battle for third. And Seipel tries to outbrake Caswell, who was under fire from Velocity. Velocity gets by him. That's for fifth. So John Velocity, the man on the move right now in that 84, the Fuel Fest Chevrolet. As Irizarry tries to hold off Nick Seipel, who is looking for the third spot. Seipel hangs her right here off turn 5, gets back over the curbs. Now we'll try to attack Irizarry in turn number 6. They work down through 6 and over to 7. And Irizarry holds that spot for now. The battle for third has cooled off just a little bit. In fact, it's going to be the battle for fourth that now heats up as John Velocity's caught Nick Seipel for position number 4. No gain from Christian Strader onto the back bumper of Ryan Patty yet up front. Although, again, we saw it back at Chicago Street Course. It looked like John Velocity was going to drive away with that race earlier on in the season, and Christian Strader used pit strategy to beat the 84. So we'll see if he does so again tonight with Ryan Patty. Garrett Caswell is right behind this in 6th. Then it's Modesty 7th, Luttrell 8th, Catrone 9th, and Eldred 10th. It's actually a bit of a heated exchange going on back there from Luttrell on back. It's pretty heated back there from 8th all the way down to about the 12th position with Greg Bourbon here. We continue to hold on to the battle for 4th, but that one has cooled off just a little now as well. Continue to keep it here, though, because Velocity has a really good turn 1, and all of a sudden is right back on the back bumper of Seipel. Putting some pressure on the Premier Racing Setups Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Again, the winner from Sonoma Raceway back in race number 3. Seipel has locked his way into the Season 2 playoffs, and looking to make a run when they get there. Velocity, big drive to the bus stop, but will have to back it off to make the corner. Tried to get Seipel right there, could not quite get close enough. We'll have to regroup and try it again as Seipel gets back to GT Irizarry for a second run at the 14 machine. Strader starts to chip at the lead of Ryan Patty. All of a sudden, the racing starts to pick up. 23 to go at the Glen. They need to make it about 11 more to be good on one stop to the end. We'll wait and see what that number ends up being on the pit cycle. Matt Hayden's got back on the lead lap. He is 10th. About to get 9th from James Catrone here in just a moment. Going to try to get up to 8th before this pit stop cycle, as where Stephen Luttrell runs right now. And all of a sudden, here comes Schrader. He cut it to about 0.8 of a second right there through turn 7, and now starts to run down Ryan Patty. If there's anybody I would not want to see in the rearview mirror getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the laps tick off at a road course, it is Christian Schrader. One of the best at the lefts and rights in the Challenger Cup Series. And he's chasing down Ryan Patty early in his Challenger Cup Series career, looking to get his first win of the season in that 30 machine. Through the bus stop, down to 5. We're watching what is developing into a battle for the lead as Christian Schrader chips away, tries to knock off a 10th here, tries to knock off half a 10th there. He did so again on this lap. 9/10 separate the leader from second. Schrader tries to get win number 4 of this early season run. Schrader having an incredible start to his second season of 2025. Ryan Patty looking to get the victory lane for the first time. Trouble from 4th position. That is Nick Seipel as he went off wide on turn 6. He's going to slide it in turn 7. He'll have to try not to hit those barrels. He'll lose 4th to Velocity. He loses 5th to Caswell. Seipel back to 6th. Meanwhile, further back, Harold Rothery has crashed hard over here in turn 5 in the carousel as he has come to a bit of a slow over there in that turn 5 area. Schrader is slowly gaining that time. He's trying to get close to the Ryan Patty machine and make this a race. He's got no closer than about 8.5 tenths. That's about as close as Patty has let him get. Patty leads, but it's only by 0.8 here off turn 7. At the line, it will be 20 laps to go, halfway at the Glen. Patty, Schrader, Irizarry, Velocity, Caswell, your top 5. The battle is about to be on for that podium position. We'll go back there briefly as Irizarry comes under fire from the defending series champ. It's John Velocity, who smokes the right front, trying to stay off Irizarry. It's actually going to pick some time back up for the 14. As Velocity got in there a lot faster, I think, than or a lot slower than I think Velocity expected him to be going, and it loses the 84 some time in the process, loses Garrett Caswell some time in the process as well. The 2 leaders, by the way, have checked out. They are 5+ seconds ahead of this battle for 3rd on the racetrack. Now, if Velocity can get by Irizarry, I think he will start to pick up some lap time and be a more competitive car when it comes to the pit stop cycle. Right now, he continues to be stuck behind the Motorcraft Mustang. This field works back into turn number 5 and out onto the straightaway in turn number 6. Up front, Ryan Patty's put 0.5 back on Christian Schrader, so it's back up to about 1.2. Schrader, a couple good corners here, though, cuts it back down to about 1.2, now 1.1, now a second flat. So Schrader continues to chip away. It continues to ebb and flow up front. This battle for 3rd is heating up. Irizarry has it. Velocity is on his back bumper. Caswell's caught the 84, and soon Seipel will catch the 77, and Modesty may catch all 4 of them. We are going to have 5 cars under a blanket for the 3rd position as the leaders check out with 19 laps to go. All Velocity was at the opening he needed right there. He tries to go to the left of Irizarry up the hill into turn number 2. Can't get it. He'll try again here in 3. Can't get it there either. He'll try to run wide to get a bit of an exit speed and set up for the bus stop, and he might have him right here. It's going to be really close. Irizarry has it. Velocity, does he try to outbrake him? He's not close enough, I don't think, in that 84. You're on board now with Irizarry as he works through the bus stop, but he runs wide, almost puts rights in the grass. Here comes Velocity trying to get back to him. Another opportunity here for the 84 as Caswell loses 5th spot to Nick Seipel. Seipel goes by the 77. He'll move forward to the 5th spot. He'll drop Caswell back to the 6th spot. Seipel runs wide in turn 5. We may have a battle for that spot as well as these 2 in front of them continue to battle for the 3rd spot. No longer. John Velocity gets by the 14. He gets to 3rd as Seipel starts to try to drive away from Caswell in the 5th spot. And now will be the ultimate test of Velocity's late run pace. He's going to have to make some of it up if he wants to get back to Patty and Strader before this pit stop coming up here in about 6 to 7 laps would be the halfway mark of this run. If he wants to make up that time, he's really got to pick up the pace late in this run. Seipel and Caswell continue to battle back here. That's for 5th. Best battle on the racetrack right now. This battle continues to heat up now. Seipel's kind of the back of Irizarry as the field works off 5 and down to 6. Seipel wants 4th, and he might have something for Velocity in the 3rd spot. Velocity, by the way, his lap times have dropped drastically in that 84 machine, so I don't know if he'll get back to the leaders or not. Ryan Patty's put another almost 2nd on Christian Strader. Ryan Patty's checked out here. Seipel gets alongside the Motorcraft Mustang. This is for 4th. Caswell almost took a look 3 wide. That would have been for 4th. As Seipel throws it across the nose of Irizarry. Caswell's going to get 2 for 1 on Irizarry. He'll go to 5th. And Modesty's going to try to make it 3 for 1 and go to 6th. GT Irizarry falling off a cliff here late in this run. As Ryan Patty continues to check out. Putting on his best impression of Shane Van Gisbergen right now is Ryan Patty. $16 laps to go at Watkins Glen International. Nick Seipel's checked out from Caswell. That is for the 4th spot. Irizarry Modesty will battle here in just a moment, I believe, for the 5th spot, or for the 6th spot, excuse me. It doesn't look like that battle actually will materialize anytime soon. Velocity's not run down Ryan Patty at all. He is running down Christian Strader for 2nd. And Strader's dropped to 4 seconds back of the leader. But I don't think either of them have the long-run pace to catch Ryan Patty. We'll have to wait and see. On the pit stop trouble, Nick Seipel gets turned. Rothery's into him. Caswell gets into it as well in the 77, and just when this race had started to settle in, more trouble for the leaders. It's the 77, the 14's in it. GT Irizarry has major suspension damage on his Motorcraft Mustang. Seipel brings it to pit road, and what was a promising recovery for the Premier Racing Setups Mustang goes up in smoke on lap number 27. As Seipel gets hit by Rothery, Irizarry gets collected. Stephen Luttrell going to come to pit road here as well. And Garrett Caswell got a piece of it also in the 77 as he's got some front end damage in that race car now. So a tough break for Irizarry and Seipel as Rothery missed the corner and got right into the side of Nick Seipel and spun him sideways, and Irizarry had nowhere he could go except into the wreck. Irizarry comes out worse for wear in that one. All those drivers continue to sit on the pit lane. We'll now watch the battle for what is the 4th position. This is 16 seconds behind the race leader, as it is between Caswell, Modesty, and Matt Hayden. And cars are on pit road, and what that tells me is they cannot go on one stop. Patty and Strader come down on the same lap. John Velasti's going to go one more. Caswell's going to go one more. So is Rusty Modesty. Matt Hayden will come down pit road. And now the pit cycle begins with 14 to go It is not quite enough. It's very, very close. We went back green with 27 to go. This would be right about the 13 lap mark of the run that these guys would be coming down pit road. Velocity, Caswell, Modesty, they're actually going to be on the better end on fuel here. So it's going to be very interesting to see if those three staying out a lap is going to benefit them in terms of they can now make it, if those other guys can also make it. We're going to have to wait and see. You'd imagine we'd see Velocity right here in the 84. He woes it down. He's coming to pit road. So he goes one extra lap. We look back to Caswell, Modesty running second and third. Caswell, he's woeing it down. Looks like Modesty's actually going to go one more. Caswell's on pit road. How about Cody Eltrid? He rolls through turn 6 and down to 7. Let's see if he goes one more. Doesn't look like he's woeing it down much. He actually will bring that car to the service of his crew. And then the last car on the cycle would be Andrew Little. Does he pit right here? He does. So Ryan Patty, actually one more will be Greg Bourbonier, as he continues to run in the 5th position, or now provisionally in the 3rd position. Modesty's going to go one more, though. So Modesty will go one more lap. Ryan Patty gets out 4.5 seconds ahead of Christian Strader. So the question for those two drivers now becomes fuel. And do they have the mileage to make it to the checkered flag? Modesty will bring his car down pit road likely this time with 13 to go. And that will complete the pit cycle once Greg Bourbonier makes his stop. In just a moment, Strader goes by him. That's for 3rd and will be for 2nd. And Ryan Patty now all eyes on the DeWalt Chevrolet. And whether or not he and Christian Strader have the gas mileage to go the distance. Over the last 14 laps, remember they pit 1 to 2 laps earlier than the rest of the field. A couple more cars have crashed, by the way. And Garrett Caswell's brought his car back to pit road, so I would assume a penalty for Garrett Caswell. Let's see if he takes any box, or if he goes to his box, or if he goes all the way through and gets to the exit of pit road. I'm not sure what the issue is for the 77. He will actually take a trip to his box. Nick Seipel has crashed again. He's dropped down to 7th after this cycle. Catrone and Beauchamp were the other two. Catrone is well off the pace in 14th, and Beauchamp is on pit road. Harold Rothery has called it an evening on lap 24. Brandon Beauchamp continues to sit on pit road. Mike Martino has multiple laps down, 11 laps down in 17th. So again, all eyes now are on Ryan Patty and Christian Strader and whether or not they have the gas to make it to the end of this race. Certainly no saving going on right now for those for the DeWalt Chevy. As he continues to drive away looking for win number 1. Strader not gaining anything. In fact, he's losing. The gap is now 4 seconds. Then it's about 6.5, actually closer to 7, back to the John Velocity machine. And then it's even further back. It's over 10 seconds behind him to Matt Aiden, who's 21 seconds off the lead. Again, the big question will be fuel mileage. Whether or not these two leaders can make it. Everyone from Velocity on back pit after the two leaders. I believe with the exception of Matt Hayden. I think Hayden was the only other car to pit on the same strategy as Patty and Strader. So a couple cars on the same strategy. 3 cars, and everybody else pit later. We assume they're good, especially Rusty Modesty, who pit the latest of anybody. Assume that he is good to the end. It's these two cars up front now that become the source of some skepticism. When they come back, we're almost to the end of this thing, by the way. It'll be 9 laps to go for Ryan Patty, who has led, with the exception of pit stop cycles, every lap of this race. Started on pole, and to this point has led every lap that was not in a green flag pit cycle. Now he has 9 more trips around this 7-turn road course to go to victory lane for the first time in the Challenger Cup Series. Strader, though, has cut the gap by over a second. So don't count your chickens before they hatch if you're Ryan Patty, because Christian Strader is trying to make this interesting. Now, it could be for one of 2 reasons. Either Patty has completely backed off his pace and he's just allowing Strader to burn his equipment. It could be Ryan Patty being a little skeptical on the fuel situation. It could be that Strader has picked something up here in the later stages where he has gotten just a little bit faster, but he has cut that gap under the 3-second threshold now as we reach the 9 to go mark. So Strader is not out of this. 2.8, 2.7. Dips into the 2.6, 2.6 flat. And how about almost a second and a half over the last 3 laps for Christian Strader? And one of the road course winners from this season is closing on the leader, Ryan Patty, as the laps close down. Here at Watkins Glen, Mike Martino was off the pace in that 75. As he goes to a 12th lap down in that car. Patty up the hill to the bus stop, and it is 2.5 seconds between him and Christian Strader for the lead and potentially for the win. Really good bus stop there by Ryan Patty. Strader takes it just as clean, trying to get through this carousel well. He's been so good over on this side of the racetrack, especially on exit. He's good again there for the most part in the carousel. Patty gains a little bit of time on him right there, though. Strader trying to break even. He's been good down here in 6 and 7 at gaining a lot of that time back that he loses other places on the racetrack. Let's see if he does it right here. He does not. Starts to lose time again. Patty starts to put it on him one more time. 7 laps to go at the line for Ryan Patty. Now he really starts to open it up. There for a moment, it looked like he was going to open up about another 3-second lead. Strader breaks even. Patty may just be managing his equipment here, just trying to get to the end and not force anything. It's going to cause a mistake. .7, the gap between the two leaders. No real major battles on the speedway. There's actually one. Let's go back here and cover it briefly. It's Irizarry and Seipel for the second time in about 15 laps. As Irizarry runs 6th, Seipel runs in 7th. And the 75 was trying to catch him. It's going to take him here another set of corners before he can get back and around the 14, but he's certainly trying. So he worked through the carousel. 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 at the line for Ryan Patty. Actually, it may already be 5. It already be 6. It is already 6. It's so far behind the leaders. This is 32 seconds, 32 seconds, excuse me, behind the leader. Strader's cut it to 2.5. This thing is not over. It is not over. Strader trying to find a way to win. He's trying to dig deep. Meanwhile, this battle continues 4-6 as these guys work down towards turn 1. Patty's over in the bus stop area, trying to hold off a late charging Christian Strader. Irizarry gives the spot to Nick Seipel. They're into turn 1. Seipel goes to 6th. Modesty runs back in 7th. Back up front we go. Ryan Patty got some lap traffic up ahead of him here. It's Harold Watkins. He will have to deal with. Try to pass in a good spot. Road course racing is about catching that traffic at the perfect time. It's a lot like dirt racing in that aspect. He will try to pass Watkins in the perfect amount of time. If he even needs to, he opens up another couple tenths on Strader. He may not need to pass the Watkins machine, at least not for a few more laps. 5 laps to go. This one has gone by in a hurry. It's going to be very close to breaking within the 1 hour threshold, which we have not really gotten this season in any race. The road course back at Sonoma may have been close. Chicago may have been close, but really haven't got to that point yet. Here's going to be a sketchy situation as Patty has to enter the bus stop, but Catrone's able to get that car woed down and let Patty go by. And he starts to open up the lead once again. Greg Bourbonier off the track right here in front of the leader, but he stays well out of the way of the DeWalt Chevy. And unfortunately for Patty, this is where the lap traffic can get a little bit interesting because he had to hold up right there behind Harold Watkins in turn 5, and it let Strader get a couple tenths back. Now, still keeping him at arm's length is Ryan Patty, 2.7 seconds between the two leaders as he works off a 6 and back down to 7. Got a couple lap cars between him and Strader. He almost got the wall right there. Did Ryan Patty, going everywhere close to the edge. 4 more trips around Watkins Glen, though. You have the fuel situation for these two. Do they have enough gas to make it to the end? You also have now the lap traffic situation with Watkins and Strader having to pass 2 cars instead of 1. Up through the S's comes Ryan Patty. He's put another 3 tenths, make it 4. Make it 5 up through the S's. Patty running his best lap in a while right here on lap number 38 rather. He was 2 tenths quicker than Strader last time by. And he's looking to trend about a little further than that here on this lap. So really now, as he continues to put a little bit of time on Strader, the question comes down to we know the gap is okay. We know he's got the stuff to drive away from Christian Strader, but does he have the fuel? Back to the line. Nick Seipel, another incident back there in 6th. 3 more trips around Watkins Glen for Ryan Patty. Tell you what, for a guy generally new to the series to come in and out-duel a couple of the guys he's going to here, if this performance holds up, this is going to be real impressive for Ryan Patty if he can make it stick. He's not forcing the issue here on Harold Watkins. If he can make this stick, it's going to be a very impressive opening stanza to his Challenger Cup Series career. If he's able to get win number 1 against some of the road course guys that are in this field. Seipel, winner at Sonoma. Oh, trouble! Watkins is going to go for a spin behind the leaders, but he stays out of the way. At the line, 2 laps to go. Next time by, it'll be the white flag, and it's a nearly 4-second lead for Ryan Patty. So we'll see the white flag next time by, but back to what I was saying. Strader, the winner at Chicago. Velocity is a road course ace. Nick Seipel, the winner from Sonoma. You got a number of guys in this field that are very good on road courses. And Ryan Patty, this has been probably the most dominant road course performance that we've seen. Nick Seipel at Sonoma was close. But Strader was able to get to him late in the race and make a race of it. Strader has never been able to do that on Ryan Patty tonight. If he can complete this. Now, again, he's got a long way to go. There's still a full lap and a quarter or so left. He's got plenty of breathing room, but he does still have to execute. Can't make a mistake in these last 9 total corners that he's got to run. Make it 8. He works his way through turn 6. No risk of a caution out back. He'll come off turn 7. And he will receive the white flag. 1 lap to go at Watkins Glen for Ryan Patty. Got to just hit your marks now if you're the DeWalt Chevrolet. Down through turn 1, all good there. Can kind of lay off just a little. Strader is nowhere even close. He continues to lose time, 4.6 seconds to gap. Martino gets out of the way as Patty works by him through 3, through 4. Down to the inner loop for the final time comes Ryan Patty. To the bus stop. Over the curbs. Right, left, left, right. All good through there. And now to the carousel to lead us 5.2 seconds. And this is going to go down as one of the most impressive, not only rookie performances in the 2 seasons that I broadcasted in this league, but one of the most impressive wins and one of the most impressive racing performances that we have ever seen in this series. What a way to open your Challenger Cup Series career. Ryan Patty dominates and wins at Watkins Glen. And he'll go, I imagine, right down here to the flat of turn number 1 and will immediately begin to burn this thing down as he has earned. What a performance. And, well, I can't imagine that's how he saw it going, but he's blown up on the flat of turn number 1. So, not the ideal celebration for Ryan Patty, but hey, he'll still take the win. He got to do a little bit of a burnout there. So we'll go through the finishing results. We'll get right into your top 3 from a very, very quick Watkins Glen race. It actually was Ryan Patty ran the race so fast, the results haven't even processed yet after the checkered flag. Because we still have cars running laps, so. Now the results start to populate. Ryan Patty is your winner from race 7 in dominant fashion here at Watkins Glen International. He'll go from first position. Christian Strader, another great run for him. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about championship favorites, I think that is in the camp of Christian Strader as we pass the halfway point of the regular season. I think he is by far the best car in the field every week in this second season of 2025. He'll go from second. John Velocity, nice return effort for him here at Watkins Glen. He'll finish 3rd. Matt Aiden had a recovery from an early incident. He'll finish 4th. And Rusty Modesty will finish in the 5th spot. Andrew Little will finish tonight in the 6th position with GT Irizarry back in 7th. Cody Eldred, another respectable run for him in the 8th spot. Nick Seipel had some problems through the middle of the race. Got involved with Harold Rothery and GT Irizarry in the mid-stages. He'll finish 9th. It'll be Stephen Luttrell getting another top 10 on his resume. Harold Watkins, a struggle tonight for last week's winner and one of the championship 4 last season. He'll go from 11th. Greg Bourbonier back in the 12th spot. Garrett Caswell had some mid-race problems and had to make a second pit stop. He finished 1 lap down in 13th. James Catrone had a couple incidents tonight in the 14th spot. Mike Martino finishes 5th, 13 laps down for the 75. Brandon Beauchamp in the 16th spot, multiple laps down as well. Same with Harold Rothery. We saw him get involved with with Seipel and Irizarry. So Rothery took it behind the wall after that incident. And Taylor Seneff, credited with 18th, did not make the grid. Well, these guys have been on point this year with getting into the broadcast waiting room right when I get done with the results. And they have done so again. And definitely is great poignance from these guys. Definitely definitely on time for all of them. So we'll get the audio all fixed up, make sure we're all set to go. We'll get into our top 3 interviews from Watkins Glen. We'll start first, the man who finished in third, the Season 1 champion here in 2025, the defending champion of the Challenger Cup Series, and the driver of the 84. It is John Velocity finishing third tonight at Watkins Glen. John, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, hey, a nice return effort for you here at Watkins Glen. We know you love the lefts and rights, and tonight a third-place finish is definitely what the doctor ordered to get you back on track this season. A respectable podium effort for you, and a race that saw very little happen, I would say, at the front of the field in terms of incidents. A relatively carefree night for you. Take us through it at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it was a good night. I was supposed to be back last week after missing a few, but a tree hit my neighbor's power line, so kind of nothing I could do about that one. But we got back here tonight, had a good qualifying run. The first stage was pretty uneventful, and then I sped coming out of the pits. That sent me to the back. So I knew I was going to have my work cut out for me there, and somehow I managed to go from the back to about 5th again by the end of that lap and put me right back in it. And then I just had nothing for the leaders. They were driving pretty good tonight, and I was pretty fast, but they were on another level.
Well, still third place for you is going to be exactly what you wanted. You talked about an uneventful stage 1. You do pick up some stage points, I believe, there. So, we look forward now. We're past the halfway point of the regular season. The defending champion yet to be on the board in the win column. Though leaving here this week, you'll likely be in a playoff position, but you're right on that bubble. What is the game plan for you over the next several weeks to lock yourself in and defend your Season 1 championship?
Game plan's got to be to just be as consistent as possible. If I can't contend for wins, I got to be in the top 3, talking to you every week. Hopefully we can get a win and not have to worry about it, but there's a lot of fast guys to compete with, and if I can't get the win, I got to be top 3 and get as many points as possible. Maybe play some strategy, get some stage points, do anything I can to put myself back in the hunt.
Well, tonight, a third-place finish, a good way to do just that and kind of chip away at that points situation coming up over the next several weeks. So before we let you go, give you a chance here to enjoy that third-place finish. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for putting on the show. And I've been gone a few weeks, but I've been watching the broadcast when I wasn't racing, and you put on an amazing show. Hope everyone enjoyed the race, and good to be back.
Good to have you back, and a third-place finish. Again, a good return effort for you tonight at Watkins Glen. Congrats on the effort. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you next week in Richmond.
Thank you.
John Velocity in the 84, third-place finisher tonight in Watkins Glen. We'll move now to the man having the best start of anybody in the Challenger Cup Series. He is first in the standings, had a 22-point lead going into tonight, and it grew with some misfortune to the guys behind him. Stage points and a second-place finish are only going to grow the points lead. For the man who finished runner-up once again tonight, it's the 29 of Christian Schrader. We'll talk to him about not only Watkins Glen, but this continued momentum here in Season 2. See how he plans to keep it up, headed forward to the final few races of the regular season.
Like, every card's like something you don't end up liking.
Christian, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Dawson?
Well, not too bad. And look, Watkins Glen tonight, we know you've won already on a road course this season back in Chicago. Tonight, outside of the front row is where you started. Outside of the front row is where you finished. A P2 finish, some stage points for you at Watkins Glen. I talked to John about this, relatively uneventful at about the top 3 or 4 positions for the most part tonight. It felt like it was you and Ryan most of the night kind of trying to figure each other out. Is there anything else you could have done in the last run? We saw you cut the deficit down. In the end, Ryan drives away just a little bit. Anything else you could have done there to get back to him, or was second becoming kind of the reality there in the late stages?
I think that second was becoming the reality there in the late stages. Realistically, I probably needed to keep up before the first pit stop. And the big part there was, I felt like we were pretty even paced, but I felt like he had just a little bit more on me. Occasionally we had a little extra speed in the tank. So I feel like it was kind of more important for me to run just consistent lap times. And once that happens, you can always put a little pressure on and try to get him offline, try to get him to run a little slower and just keep him in your mind.
Well, nonetheless, a second-place finish continues what has been just a lightning-fast run for you here at the beginning of this second season in 2025. Coming into tonight, a 22-point lead over Harold Watkins, with guys behind you in the standings coming through some tough times throughout tonight. You had stage points as well as a second-place finish. That points lead will grow as we head into Richmond next week. You know, obviously, they always say don't peak too early, and the start that you had of this season has been really unlike most, seasons that I have seen up to this point. So how do you keep the momentum going? How do you ensure that you did not peak too early this season and continue this momentum forward into the playoffs?
I think the big thing really is just kind of taking your time and not really trying to get overly aggressive. Don't really get wrapped up into the fact that, like, hey, you've won some races, you're running good. Just kind of go out, treat each race like its own race, and just do your best and focus only on that event. You start kind of getting like a little bit overconfident, things like that. And that's kind of where the mistakes end up getting made. So I think the biggest thing is just don't really try to get more than what you can. Going for a win, they'll kind of come if you just stay doing what you're doing and kind of riding it out.
Well, it's definitely working for you right now. Another second place finish, another podium for you on this season. And now we'll leave Watkins Glen not only as the points leader, but with a larger points lead than you came into tonight's race with. Before we let you go and enjoy the second place finish as we head back over to Richmond next week, is there anybody like to thank or shout out?
Just shout out to you. We always appreciate having you in the booth. And then Rusty and Andrew for putting everything together. And then for Ryan, came in, lights out very fast. Felt like didn't really leave much on the table for him to beat me. So it's quite a way to make an entrance into the league.
Great entrance indeed, but a good finish for you tonight in the second position. Congrats on the effort. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next week in Richmond.
Yeah, have a good one.
Christian Strader, the 29, second place finisher in tonight's race. We'll move now to the man in Challenger Cup Series victory lane, and you heard Christian talking about it tonight, his first start. And not only a first win, but one of the most dominant performances we have seen to date here at least in 2025 in this series. And Ryan Patty came in, and starting on the pole is one thing. Coming out here and setting the fastest qualifying time against Strader, against Velocity, against a couple other the road course aces that were in the field tonight. Not only did he set a pole time that was 0.2 quicker than a winner earlier in the season at a road course, then he proceeded to go out, and with the exception of the pit cycle under green, he led every lap of tonight's race, Corey Heim-esque from Lime Rock Park several weeks back in the Truck Series. So Ryan Patty gets the job done. He's in victory lane at Watkins Glen. We'll get to talk to the driver of the number 30. Ryan, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey there. Yes, I do.
Well, boy, you want to talk about an opening statement to a career. I think that's what tonight was for you. On the pole to start the race, and as I just mentioned a moment ago, you kind of think, okay, not too shabby. He's 0.2 quicker than some of the guys that have won on road courses this year. But then you go out and you back it up for all 41 laps. The pit stop, flawless. You run away by 5, 6, 7 seconds each time, and you come forward to a dominant victory here at Watkins Glen. Number one, coming into tonight, against a field of guys that we really hadn't seen you run against before, was this an expectation? Was this, a little bit surprising? Kind of take me through, how it felt to look up at the scoring tower and realize, oh man, I'm ahead by 4 seconds. I'm really I'm taking these guys to school tonight.
Yeah, obviously felt good. Nice to start the season off with a win here in my debut. Obviously pretty strong at this track. Watkins Glen's a lot of fun to run. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know a ton of these guys. You got the invite from Cody Eldred, who I race with in other leagues, and he asked me to come on over because I had Tuesdays open up, and yeah, I just really didn't want to ruffle any feathers. So I got to apologize to I think it was Harold Watkins there. Didn't mean to touch him there, but did end up making a little contact, trying to get by him there. But yeah, my goal was really just to keep it clean, try to be as fast as I could, and come home safe. And ultimately, I guess I had the fastest pace tonight, and we'll have to see where things shake out the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, now kind of we start to look forward. We start heading to some more ovals over the next several weeks. Richmond next week, Daytona, obviously a bit of a wild card coming up here in a couple weeks. But, some of the unique ovals still coming up. Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, New Hampshire are all coming up before the playoffs begin. So, now you've done it on a road course. Obviously, most of the schedule is ovals. Can we expect the same pace from the 30 going forward? What is kind of your own expectation for yourself as we get back to the short tracks and the unique ovals on the schedule starting next week?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, looks like there's plenty of speed in this league, so I can't say where I'll place each week, but I do know, I'm pretty comfortable at almost every track we go to. So, anytime we're out on the racetrack in the Challenger Racing League, I'm probably going to be looking for a top 5 or a podium. And depending on how things shake out week to week, if we can take a couple more checkered flags home, then all the better. But just trying to get used to driving around these guys, show them who I am, stay as clean as possible. That's typically my MO. And just hopefully have some good, fun, tight racing for the rest of the season.
Well, we are looking forward to it as well as we begin to watch your run here in the Challenger Cup Series. One more thing before I kind of give you the floor to give some thank yous and shout-outs. I do want to ask, the playoffs are a bit of a unique format that, not all leagues run. There obviously will be some playoff racing later in the season. The Roval is there, obviously, with the road course pace we just saw. It certainly is going to be interesting to watch with guys in the playoffs as well. You mentioned being clean, but I do want to still ask, obviously, guys are going to be playoff racing here in a few weeks. How do you go about racing that kind of field when they're going for a championship, they're going for berths to the next round? How are you going to kind of manage that as a guy that came in mid-season?
Yeah, there's not a lot of runway here. What are we at? Race what are we, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 races to go in the season. So I've got 7 races to show these guys that I'm clean and fair to race around, with the goal of getting to the playoffs and having them race me the same way. So if I'm out of it or off pace in some way, I'm absolutely not going to hold anybody up, and I'd like to see other drivers do that. Obviously, bumped Harold Watkins, so I'll have to smooth that over. I want to make sure that he's not too upset there. But you get out on the track, you show people respect, and hopefully when you get to playoff time, they pay it back.
Well, dominant effort for you tonight in Watkins Glen. Your first trip to Challenger Cup Series victory lane is tonight in race number 7. So before we let you go, I do want to give an opportunity. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out on your way out the door?
Yeah, appreciate Cody for the invite, bringing me over here. It seems like a fun league. Excited for the rest of the season. I believe Harold and Rusty both do a lot of work on the back end to admin this thing, so I appreciate them making a league for us to race in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And appreciate you for being in the booth and making this fun for us to go back and watch and share with our families.
I appreciate you for talking to me for a second. Congratulations on your first career win in the Challenger Cup Series. Go enjoy it a little bit. Go celebrate. We will talk to you next week in Richmond.
Thanks, Dawson. We'll see you there.
Ryan Patty in the 30, the winner from Watkins Glen International tonight in race number 7 of the Challenger Cup Series here on PGR eSports. Well, as they start to wrap up coverage, boy, this one was over and done with here in a blink of an eye before 10 o'clock on the East Coast, one of the fastest races of the season to this point. And it mainly comes from the fact that Ryan Patty showed up to the racetrack. He unloaded with speed in practice. He was the fastest car in qualifying, and then proceeded to lead almost every one of the 41 laps tonight at Watkins Glen. One of the most dominant efforts I have seen in my about 8 months of doing this series. I have not seen many better efforts than what we saw out of Ryan Patty tonight in the 30 machine. His first trip to victory lane, the Challenger Cup Series, comes in start number 1. Moving forward with our programming, we will be back next Tuesday night from the Richmond Raceway for another short track event. We head back to the short tracks next week at Richmond. Looking forward to getting over there to Richmond. A fun bit of the schedule coming up. It's really a very interesting, unique set of tracks coming up. Richmond is next. Then, of course, we go to Daytona, and anything can happen on the high banks of Daytona. Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, New Hampshire, Kansas close the regular season. That is going to be all over the place in terms of what kinds of racing we'll get at those racetracks as we close the regular season and set the playoff field. And of course, it's on to the playoffs: the Charlotte Roval, Las Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, and then Phoenix, and then the Atlanta finale for the Challenger 2025 year-long championship with the Final Four from Season 1 and Season 2 going for that big title. So a lot of fun stuff coming up next week at 8:30. We'll be back here on PGR eSports for more coverage from the Richmond Raceway. For 160 laps under the lights at Richmond. We'll should be a fun one next Tuesday night. Coming up here on PGR eSports later in the week, Thursday night, we return for another edition of the PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series as we welcome the drivers back from the break after the PGR SummerSlam 499 a couple weeks back. We welcome everybody back from the off week we had last week and get back to the regularly scheduled programming coming up throughout this week. I do want to let you know what that race is going to be when we get to that race coming up here on Thursday night. It's going to be the Xfinity Series race cars at the Daytona International Speedway with green flag time at 10:25 p.m. Eastern. That will likely be myself and Austin Green on the call for that PGR eSports race on Thursday. Landon Velicki's Midnight Racing League broadcast will go live at midnight on Friday night. They've been getting a consistent 40-car turnout, which you might be thinking a race that starts at midnight getting 40 cars. What in the world? Well, they have gotten that all season long, and another race coming up on Friday night, so looking forward to watching Landon and Trev as they bring you all the action from the Midnight Racing League with what should be another exciting race coming up later on in the week. As for next week, other than our race on Tuesday night, things still kind of up in the air. I know Austin's Grindstone Development's Truck Series ran tonight as well with him on the call. He'll likely be on the call again next week for that race. That race likely still going on at this point. If it is, head over and check him out for the closing stages of that race. But other than that, not a lot going on. The Light Series, I believe, has a preseason race. We'll see if that is broadcast on Monday night coming up next week. So be on the lookout for the PGR Light Series to perhaps have some preseason action coming up on Monday night next week as well. That is the next week of programming on PGR eSports. Again, for us, we'll be back next week in Richmond, round number 8 of the Challenger Cup Series. We're now past the halfway point of season number 2 of this series. Boy, it is unbelievable how fast this season is going. And what a season! What a start to the season that we've had through 7 races. Tonight in Watkins Glen, it's Ryan Patty in PGR Victory Lane and Challenger Cup Series Victory Lane, rather, here on a Tuesday night. Start number 1, win number 1 for the driver of the 30. We'll see if we can back it up next week in Richmond. We'll be back a week from now at 8:30 p.m. here on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise. Thank you so much for spending some of your time on a Tuesday night with me. Until next